Peace be with you. Welcome. Welcome to our night of light and lament. My name is Nick. I am the minister here at Red Deer Lake United Church. We're an affirming church that gratefully gathers on Treaty 7 land. And this is our service that we call our night of light and lament. It's a service for anyone and everyone who is struggling. It's for anyone and everyone who, as we head into this season, finds themselves full of and surrounded by doubt, pain, sorrow, grief, anger, stress. It's a service for anyone and everyone who, as we head towards Christmas, just isn't feeling it. It's for everyone who's not feeling very Christmassy. And so as we start, thank you for being here. And know that I mean that. Showing up here, pressing the play button, I know that's not an easy thing to do. Showing up is something where we get real and honest about the stuff that we're carrying. Oh, that's hard. That is really hard. So thank you for making the choice to be here and be present. May you know that you are in the right place. May you know that you and everything that you bring in with you is welcome. There's room for it. And may you know that you, just as you are, you're welcome, you're wanted, and you are accepted here. And we're here because, man, we're struggling, aren't we? It has been a really hard year. There's been the pandemic and everything that brought with it. But there's also been a civil rights movement. There's been the erosion of democracy. There's been climate change, there's been gun violence, there's been division and anger and violence. Yeah, a lot has gone on this year. And that's just on top of the stuff that life usually brings. The loss, the change, the broken relationships, the anxiety, the depression, the illnesses. Yeah, that's just on top of that. But then, of course, as we head into Christmas, there's all the stuff that this season brings. And not the joy and the merriment and the festivities, but all the stuff we don't talk about. The financial stress, the awkward, hard family dynamics, the loneliness, the grief, the anxiety, the depression, all of that stuff. Yeah, we're feeling all of that too. Yeah, that's a lot. That is a lot. That's more than a lot. You know, with all that going on in us and around us, we're not okay. And we're finding it really hard to exist right now. Anyone with me on that? Are you with me? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, I think we all do. We're all in that same storm. We're all feeling overwhelmed, thin, and existentially done. And so experiencing the weight of all of that. We're here tonight, we're here in this place, exhausted and overwhelmed, to do something pretty courageous and pretty daring. We're going to be courageous by being honest about all the stuff that we've got going on. We're going to name it. We're going to be real and raw. And we're also going to dare to hope. We're going to believe it doesn't have to be this way, that we don't have to live like this. That maybe, just maybe, we can make our lives a bit easier, a bit lighter. That there is something out there that will let us know that everything is going to be okay, even though everything is not all right. And so that's what the plan is tonight. We'll spend some time in each of those places. We'll spend some time in lament, in naming things and letting it all out. But also in light. And daring to look for hope and daring to believe it doesn't have to be this way. And so our prayer is that we can each leave here not fixed, because we're not broken. And not thinking, well, everything is okay, because we can't really promise that. We can't promise it's all going to get better at the end of this. But the prayer is we can leave here free from despair. Free from that feeling that every day is going to be exactly the same and we're stuck and this is all that there is. We want you to leave here. The prayer is that you can see the light that is on the horizon. That maybe something else is coming into your life, into our world. and everything is going to change, that tomorrow can be a new day. And so we're going to start with this. We're going to start with a song, and we've got our friend Drew Brown here. He's doing all the music and some prayers for this service. And he's going to take it from here. And I invite you to use this song to help you finish arriving. Now that you know what's ahead, let's get ready for it. Let's lean into this. Let's set our intention. Let's soften up. Let's open up. Let's show up. And use this time to do what we have to do. To lament and look for light and look for liberation. And so my friends, once again, as we head into this time, may peace be with you.
Come, thou long expected Jesus, born to set thy people free from our fears and sins. Release us, let us find our rest in thee. Angel strength and consolation, hope of all the earth thou art, dear desire of every nation, joy of every longing heart. Born thy people to deliver, born a child and yet a king, born to reign in us forever. Now thy gracious kingdom bring, by thine own eternal spirit, ruling all our hearts alone, by thine all-sufficient merit, raise us to thy glorious throne. Is your strength and consolation, hope of all the earth thou art, dear desire of every nation, joy of every longing heart. Jesus, we're waiting for you. Save us now. Savior, come soon. We're waiting for you, Lord. Waiting for you.
So I want to start this service by taking us back to the year 2005. Because something happened that year that I've been thinking a lot about. As I process the stuff that I've been carrying and I hear stories from people like you, I keep going back to this thing that happened that year. And the thing that I've been thinking a lot about is called post-secret. Now you might remember it was this huge cultural phenomenon. But what it was is this collaborative art project started by a guy named Frank Warren. And what Frank asked people to do was mail him your secrets. Yeah, mail him your secrets. That's what he wanted people to do. He wanted people to write on a postcard something that they had never told anyone. Something that they had kept under lock and key, something they had buried deep inside of them, something they had been carrying with them for God knows how long. His only rules were it had to be true, it had to be a secret, and it had to be on a postcard. And the thing blew up. Hundreds of thousands of people mailed in their secrets. And they got super creative with them. And now at first the ones that began to trickle in were cute, they were funny, they were almost lighthearted, as real as they are. You got ones like this. And then you got ones like this. And then you got ones like this. And as real as they are, we can almost laugh at them, right? We can see the humor that they were sent in with. But then slowly, as more and more and more postcards came in, as more secrets came in, the tone shifted. And you began to get ones like this. And ones like this. And ones like this. And ones like this. Right? Right? So heavy, we can feel the weight of it. Our souls, our hearts almost break reading these things because we know how hard, how heavy it must have been to carry those things with you your whole lives. Yeah. Heavy, heavy stuff. And as I've been looking through all these secrets that people have spent in, as I've been looking through what's online, I was struck by something I had never thought of before. And I suddenly realized why Post-Secret exploded, why hundreds of thousands of people had written in. Because what Post-Secret was, what it was inviting people to do, it was this ancient spiritual practice of lament. And what we talk about when we talk about lament is this ancient spiritual art of letting out all the stuff that we've got in us. It's this practice of taking all our pain, our suffering, our sorrow, our grief, our anxiety, our despair, all that stuff that we've been carrying around, and letting it out and naming it. And through that saying, I don't want to live like this anymore. I'm so sick of feeling this way. It should not have to be this way. Our world should not be like this. I don't want this to happen anymore. That's what lament is. It's somehow getting all this stuff up here. And so in that sense, when we talk about lament, we're talking about protest, we're talking about resistance, and we're even talking about love songs. That's one way we can see lament is love songs. They're love songs for the life in the world that we so desperately want, but just don't have. Yeah, that's what lament is. It's letting out and naming all the stuff that we're carrying and saying no more. And maybe you know what I'm talking about. And maybe you can see that in some of the Post-Secret cards that we showed. But however you want to think about it, when you look at our tradition, lament is one of the most fundamental practices we see throughout our entire tradition and even throughout the whole scriptures. It blows my mind how little we talk about lament for how important it is said to be. And lament is important for two really big reasons. Lament's important, one, because lament honors our pain. It recognizes our struggle and our suffering as valid and legit. Because so often, we kind of dismiss our pain, don't we? We belittle it, we bypass it, we rationalize it. We do everything we possibly can not to actually deal with it. We kind of keep it over here, we ignore it, and just hope it doesn't really affect our lives. Right? Anyone else do that? I do that all the time. But what lament calls us to do is own it, to name it, to recognize it as valid and legit and real and say, this matters. Which is to say, my story matters. which is to say, I matter. And that's a really powerful, hard, but really powerful thing to do, isn't it? To say, this happened to me and this matters, and I don't want to live like this anymore. I don't want to feel this anymore. I don't want to hide this anymore. Yeah, that's what lament does. It honors, it validates, it legitimizes our experiences. And we need to do that because those things matter. Our stories matter. But the second reason is also massive and huge and so transformative and important. The reason why our tradition says we need to lament is because lament reminds us of a truth at the very heart of our tradition, the very heart of the Jesus movement. This truth that says we have a God who moves towards us. Yeah, just sit with that for a moment because this is massive, huge stuff. We have a God who moves towards us. God, that source of our life, that ground of our being, that mystery underneath it all, that divine, energetic spirit. Out of love, she moves towards us. That God sees our plight, that God hears our cries, and God moves towards us. God isn't far away, distant, detached, and indifferent. But God is with, for, in, around. God is here. Yeah, that's what lament reminds us of, that God is here. That we can lament because we have a God who cares. We have a God who sees, who hears, and who moves. And I'm going to let you in on a little secret, something that we all probably know, but we don't know, if you know what I mean. And that secret is this: that truth, that God is here with and for, that God moves towards. That's what Christmas is all about. Yeah, that is what Christmas is all about. If Christmas is about anything, Christmas is about the liberating, transformative, radical, revolutionary truth that God isn't up there, but God is here. That God heard our cries. God saw our suffering, and because God is a God of love, God moved to be with us. That God moved into our life and our world. Yeah, that is what Christmas is about. And the thing about that, if that's what Christmas is, who Christmas is for changes. Christmas suddenly becomes this thing that is for people with lament. It's for people who've got stuff going on. It's for people who feel stuck. It's for people who feel overwhelmed. It's for people of lament. Christmas is for people with laments because God is a God who hears our laments and who moves to be with and for, letting everyone and everything know that they are not alone, but God is with them. Yeah, the whole thing kind of changes, doesn't it? Because if that is what Christmas is for, then Advent, this time we're in, it changes too. Instead of it being this thing about being happy and joyful and turning on all the lights and cranking everything up to 11, which makes us feel we have to fake it if we're feeling distraught and depressed and lonely. But instead, Advent is an invitation to be real and raw. It's its invitation to lament, to name all the reasons why we're not okay, all the reasons why our world is not okay. To yell out, however we need to do it, our songs of protest and love. All the things in our life, in us and around us, our world we want God to come into, to bring some healing, some peace, some comfort, some hope, joy, and love. Yeah, that's what Advent is about. And so instead of it being this time when we need to kind of hide and fake it, actually it's a time to do something really courageous and bold. And that's let out our laments. To let out our laments, trusting, knowing, rooting ourselves in the belief that God is with us and for us because God is a God of love. And so knowing knowing that we've all got that stuff inside of us, knowing we each have our laments and they are valid and real and legit. We're going to take some time right now to let them out. Drew's going to lead us in a song and some prayers, and we want to invite you to use this time however you will. But use it as an invitation, as encouragement, as permission to practice that sacred art of lament. And you can do it however you want. You can just sit there and just feel that permission. You can write things down. You can make your own postcards. It doesn't matter. But use this as a time of lament. It's to do that work of asking God to come into our lives, to come into our world and bring that healing, liberating, comforting, peaceful love. This love that lets us know that everything is going to be okay, even if everything is not all right.
Oh, come, Emmanuel, and ransom captive Israel that mourns in lonely exile here until the Son of God appears. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel. Oh, come thou day spring, come and cheer our spirits by thine advent here. Disperse the gloomy clouds of night, and death's dark shadows put to flight. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel. Oh, come, desire of nations bind, in one the hearts of all mankind. Bid thou our sad division cease, and be thyself our King of peace. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel.
Hey everybody, my name's Drew Brown, and I'm really glad that you're able to hang out with us. I don't know about you, but for me, this year has been one long Advent. That feeling of tension, of when is hope going to come? Maybe you're in the same way. Maybe you're also like me, where you're in desperate need of that Christmas spirit. Like you need it so bad, and like Christmas just feels different this year. There's a hunger for it this year. And I know for me, I've been trying to voice my longing for Christ in a different way, in a new way. Because I need the divine in a new and fresh way this year. The cool thing is about who we are as people of faith is that one thing that we do really well is that sense of hopeful mourning. We practice that really well. It's in our history. It's in our family tree. We got that shtick down pat. It's what we do. That sense of being real with what's in front of us, of the pain of what's in front of us, but knowing that around the corner, around the bend, just in the next chapter, hope is coming. And so this prayer is exactly that. It's just a simple offering of saying, the world as we see it right now, it's not doing well. It's broken. It's hurting. I'm broken. I'm hurting. I'm mourning, but I'm mourning with a sense of hope, knowing that change is coming, that justice is coming, that hope is coming. I hope this serves you well in this season. O come, thou long-expected Christ, for we are not okay. Hold us as we weep. We all feel the heaviness of it all, and we are tired, and we are worn, and we are weary, and we have waited so long. Restore our hope, for it has almost run out. Restore our rest, for this world has a way of stealing it and for convincing us that we don't deserve it. Give us holy courage, for we need it in order to do your work in this world. We will continue to hope as we mourn the present, as we lament, as we cry out for mercy. For our hope sings a song of freedom that is to come, of justice that will one day ring out loud and clear. So we watch and we wait, with grief in one hand and joy in the other. We prepare with a hopeful mourning for you. Hold us as we mourn. Hold us as we hold fast to you for hope. O come, Emmanuel, come, and let every hope and fear be met in thee tonight.
Yeah. And before we come out of that prayer, let's just take a breath. Let's just take a deep, soulful breath in and out. Yeah. And with that breath, we all say, Amen. So good, right? Do you feel different? I feel different. It feels like some space has been created within me. Because that's what happens when we practice lament. That's what happens when we practice hopeful mourning. With getting all that stuff that's been occupying us and weighing us down, with getting all that stuff out. Some space gets created. And it's into that space I want us to stay. Let's camp out there a little bit. And it's into that space that just got created, that I want to offer another truth. Another thing we can hold on to, not only this time of year, but any time of year, any season we find ourselves in. And that truth is this: Christmas isn't something that just happened, but Christmas is something that happens. Christmas isn't something that happened once 2,000 years ago, but Christmas is something that is still happening. Christmas still happens because Christmas happens whenever we offer God our cries and our pain and our suffering. And God sees us, hears us, and moves into our lives and our world, bringing a bit of hope, joy, peace, and love, letting us know that we are not alone. And so that's what that space is. That's a bit of hope, joy, peace, and love, a bit of possibility. A bit of God letting us know that we are not alone, but she is with us and for us. And so we're going to stay in that space. We want to stay there. We're going to offer a guided meditation. Drew's going to walk you through some hope, joy, peace, and love. And this is our chance to own those things. To now that we've let all that stuff out, to bring some new stuff in. And not just for us. Not just some hope, joy, peace, and love for us, but also for others, for our neighbors, for the world around us. Because that's the thing about Christmas. We not only get to behold that light that shines upon us, but we get to become that light. That's what happens when we experience love. We become it. We can't help but pass it on. And so having taken all of our stuff and offered it up and trusting that God has moved in, let's stay here. Let's stay in that spaciousness, that possibility, that thing that just got created. And let's ask God to do her thing to us, but also through us. And so my friends, let's say another prayer.
I invite you to think about the 4 candles and themes of Advent: hope, peace, joy, and love. Begin to think of the places and spaces in your life where you need more hope. Christ, meet us there. And with peace, how do we love the other well? And how can we better cross the bridge of difference and find ways to truly be a peacemaker? Christ, meet us there. Gratitude and joy are deeply connected. So even in this difficult year that we've all been through, we can think of 1 or 2 things that we are all deeply thankful for. And so even now, bring them to mind. What are you thankful for? And what feelings or emotions are present? Is joy one of them? Generosity is also connected to joy. And so take a moment to think of 1 or 2 people within your own context who can truly use an act of generosity from you. Christ, meet us there. We are all made in the image of love. So let us love foolishly, relentlessly, courageously, and unconditionally. Let us keep our arms wide open to love our enemies and love those who do not think the same as us. Let us be a people free to love and serve the needs of our siblings around us. And help us remember what love really means. And as we go through the remainder of this Christmas season, as we find new ways to shine the light of hope and peace and joy and love, both within our own hearts, but also in the hearts around us. Christ, meet us there. Because we find these things in you. Help us to be like you and share these things with others.
So once again, let's end with a breath. A deep, soulful, spirit-filled breath. Breathing in. And out. Yeah. Yeah, my friends, do you feel a bit different? Do you feel different? I hope you do. I hope you feel how God has moved into that space. I hope you feel after letting out your laments, God has brought in a bit of hope, joy, peace, and love into your life and your world. And even if it's just a tiniest little bit, I hope you feel it. I hope you have that to take with you. Because it's that little bit sometimes, maybe all the time, that's enough. That's enough to let us know that we are not alone. And that everything is going to be okay, even if everything is not all right. And so we're going to end with a song. And Drew and I were talking about how to end this service. And we were talking about how we need to go out knowing that we're not going out into whatever's next with it all fixed. It's not like the things that we're grieving or the things that we're struggling with, the people we're fighting with. It's not like all that stuff just ends. That stuff goes with us. It's gonna go with us. We can't make that go away like that, especially this year. But what we can go with is with that truth of Christmas in our hand. That regardless of what is happening around us, regardless of how dark it gets, regardless of how scary it gets, regardless of how heavy it gets, Christmas still happens. That nothing can stop it because nothing is bigger than love. And so we are going to play this next song and we invite you to sing along or just meditate, listen to the words, let it fill you up some more. But let it remind you of that truth. That Christmas happens. And that a light is shining. Shining for you and upon you, but also through you. And so as you head into the rest of this Christmas season, as you head into the rest of this year and whatever is next, our prayer is that you'll find that light. And that light will fill you up, that light will guide you, and that light will let you know that everything is going to be okay because God moves towards us. And so my friends, thank you for being here. Thank you for lamenting with us. Thank you for doing this hard work. Merry Christmas. May you go in peace. May you go in love. May you go and find that light.
Lost and weary traveler, searching for the way to go. Stranger, heavy-hearted, longing for someone you know. May you find a light. May you find